Okay, this is part one on the lead up to World War One. Alright? So, the events that culminated in World War One began with conflicting national interests among European nations during the late 1800s. As rivalries intensified in the early 1900s, the great powers plunged towards war, pressed forward by four main factors: M. Militarism, A. Alliances, I. Imperialism, N. Nationalism. So, main. So if you're ever, so it's easy mnemonic device to remember the factors that led up to World War One: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. So militarism. I'm tired. I just got done work. Militarism. Militarism is the glorification of armed strength. Now, militarism dominated the thinking of European leaders leading up to World War One. Militarily strong nations usually got what they wanted, which was greater leverage. So in the late 1800s, European nations built reserve armies. These reservists could be mobilized at any time. Now what we saw was that when one nation mobilized, other nations mobilized their forces. And it was a sort of a cyclical process that was difficult to stop. And so militaries grew larger and larger in a sort of arms race. Now, as we'll discuss later, imperialism played a part in this as well. Imperialism played a part in this as well. Okay. So let's see. Now, in imperialism, in the early 1900s, imperialist nations often came close to war as they scrambled to partition Africa, Asia, and Latin America among themselves. Usually there were compromises, but these compromises often created resentment because one or both parties felt essentially that they got the raw end of the deal. Then there was nationalism, which was spurred by the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars. In the wake of after the fall of the Roman Empire, many people and many statesmen were thinking, well, we should have one people, one government. You know, the only problem, most governments at this time, most nations, most states had citizens of various nationalities who spoke various different languages. So this is a source of conflict as well. And this is just a brief. We'll go into more detail later. And then you had the entangling system of alliances. And as you can recall, our founding fathers sort of warned against this. Back during the late 18th century and early 19th century. And George Washington warned against it, and Thomas Jefferson also warned against an entangling system of alliances, and that's why the U.S. The idea was friendship and trade with all, alliances with none, because they knew from history that, and then alliances tended to lead to wars that involved multiple different countries and led to a great deal of destruction, and at the end no one really benefited. Maybe one nation became more powerful, but there was always devastation. So Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were intelligent in this regard, and the U.S. for a long time resisted. This is one of the reasons why the United States, just one of the reasons why the U.S. didn't immediately jump into World War One. But unfortunately, most European statesmen were not of the mind of George Washington or Thomas Jefferson, who were thinking, friendship and trade with all nations, alliances with none, Maybe they should have studied more history. One person that could have benefited from this, and who a lot of people see as one of the main personalities that led to World War One, who at least set the stage for World War One, was Otto von Bismarck, first Chancellor of Germany. And now, as discussed in a previous lecture, he unified all of the German states through warfare. He created a powerful German empire, and he was also a skilled diplomat. Just not skilled enough to avoid World War One. So in the late 1800s, Germany shifted the global balance of power. In place of a group of relatively weak German states, a powerful centralized German empire arose and embarked on an ambitious foreign policy, with Otto orchestrating most of it. Through the Franco-Prussian War, also known as the Franco-German War, Germany took, I keep forgetting the name of this province, but anyway, took some territories from France, and also forced France to pay reparations, and also in the Hall of Mirrors, sort of, embarrassed the heck out of France. I better plug this in. I don't even know where the plug for this is. I'm sorry that this is so bad, but I am tired from work. Just plugging in the laptop. So, let's see. So, anyway, after the Franco-Prussian War, Otto feared France would seek revenge for its 1871 defeat. Well, 1870. The Franco-Prussian War lasted from 1870 to 1871. But of course, France was defeated and lost the war in 1871. So, yeah, Otto feared France would seek revenge for its 1871 defeat in the Franco-Prussian War by trying to regain Alsace-Lorraine. There it is, Alsace-Lorraine. He was intent on keeping France isolated and was especially intent on preventing a Franco-Russian alliance, which would leave Germany with enemies on both the eastern and western front. And of course, Russia was nobody to take lightly. France was weak, but Russia was not. Anyway, so Otto von Bismarck wanted to isolate France, and as part of this, he helped to orchestrate the Triple Alliance of 1882 among Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. This was probably a bad idea because France quickly became uneasy and began to seek allies in response. So it sort of had the opposite effect. Russian nationalists who resented Germany's support of Austria-Hungary demanded an alliance with France. However, the Russian government did not wish to sever diplomatic ties with Germany, at least at the time. So, in 1877, you had the Reinsurance Treaty, which was a secret agreement, a secret treaty between Germany and Russia. The treaty provided that each party would remain neutral if the other became involved in a war with a third great power, though this would not apply if Germany attacked France, or if Russia attacked Austria-Hungary. However, a year later, William II, the last emperor of Russia, became Kaiser and soon dismissed Otto von Bismarck, and with him Germany. When the treaty was not renewed in 1890, a Franco-Russian alliance rapidly began to take shape. Okay, so this is the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming soon. Thank you for watching, and I apologize for the poor quality and for me being exhausted and for this not being very good, but at least I got to go over my notes. Take it easy.